Podcast Network Asia. FirstMetroSec is providing this podcast as a general market commentary. Reference to any specific security, product, or entity do not constitute as an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any financial instruments or to participate in any particular trading strategy. The statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed by the hosts are subject to change without notice, and FirstMetroSec is under no obligation to update, amend, change, or correct any of the statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed. The statements, comments, views, and opinions expressed by the guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of FirstMetroSec. FirstMetroSec disclaims any liability arising from reliance on or reference to any information obtained in this podcast.
You are listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast, where we feature timely and relevant discussions on the Philippine stock market and the economy in the hope of providing you investing and trading guidance. Here's your host.
Hi investors, this is Anjz from First Metro Securities. In today's podcast, let's talk about what happened in March. What were the key economic events, key data points, and other factors that influence the market's movement. Alright, let's get into it. Despite a volatile month, the PSEi rose by 3.05% month-on-month to 6,180.72, reducing its year-to-date losses to 5.33%. March began strongly, with the index climbing 5.01% in the first week, driven by bargain hunting following the MSCI rebalancing. Additionally, the February 2025 inflation rate of 2.1%, below both the consensus estimate and January 2025's rate of 2.9%, along with positive full-year earnings reports from several index constituents, encouraged trading. However, sentiment weakened for the remainder of the month as the market digested several key risk events. First, trade tensions escalated with U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of new tariffs, triggering global sell-offs and fueling U.S. recession fears. Second, news of former President Rodrigo Duterte's arrest on crimes against humanity charges, followed by his departure to The Hague for trial before the International Criminal Court, also weighed on market sentiment. Heightened political noise from rallies supporting Duterte, though mostly peaceful, added another layer of uncertainty and further limited risk appetite. The index managed to recover mid-month as political risks eased and following monetary policy easing signals from both the Fed and the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The Fed kept rates steady at 4.50% and signaled potentially 2 rate cuts for the year. The BSP, meanwhile, hinted at a potential rate cut in April. As the month came to a close, profit-taking erased earlier gains. Investors positioned ahead of the FTSE rebalancing effective on March 24, 2025. In addition, a system issue at the Philippine Stock Exchange led to a delayed 11:10 a.m. opening, dampening sentiment and resulting in subdued trading. Finally, caution again prevailed as President Trump confirmed plans to impose additional tariffs, dubbed Liberation Day, set to take effect in April, targeting key sectors such as automobiles, pharmaceuticals, and semiconductors. These mounting tariffs weighed on the global economic outlook, capping the month with weaker market confidence. Several earnings results for the full year 2024 were released throughout March. For an updated summary, visit our trading platforms, navigate to the Research tab, select FirstMetroSec, and access the most recent daily report. Yeah, and that's it for today's podcast. Make sure to follow us on our socials for more updates. That's First Metro Securities for both our FB and IG page. Again, that's First Metro Securities. So thanks for tuning in and have a profitable month ahead.
Thanks for listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Don't forget to follow us to get first dibs on our new episodes. For more up-to-date market news and info, exclusive content, and the opportunity to connect with your fellow Filipino investors and traders, join facebook.com/groups/FirstMetroSec and be part of the FirstMetroSec family.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.